So this is actually related to the art piece I did as well. It's just over there. Sorry, Sarah. So the work I did and the things I'm going to do now are around, do you know the game Cat's Cradle? You might have played it when you were kids. It has a few different names, but that's what I know it by. And I sort of linked it with, because it's actually one of the oldest games in the world, or reputed to be. And I sort of linked it together with this idea that I know from Japanese mythology, but I think it originates from China, that everyone who's, people who are meant to be together are linked by, pretend this is red, it said it was red online, this is not red in real life. People who are meant to be together, typically in a romantic way, are linked by red strings linking their fingers to each other's. And I think that's quite nice, and you could also interpret it as sort of linking together people through time, through this sort of game that's just continued on. So I'm going to do a few, I was planning to learn all sorts of crazy formations, but it's actually surprisingly difficult. It's really ironic that being all fingers and thumbs does not help with this. So I've just got a few. And then I was going to read poems at the same time, but then I sort of realised that while I've been practicing that, I've been sitting down and it doesn't quite work, so I'll read some poems about things after. So this is actually like a really basic thing. So this is just called A formation. I'm not going to read a poem around this because it's really boring, but that's just the very basic one you start with. And then so this is the first thing. This doesn't have a name. I think it should have a name. I think it's very interesting. I don't know if you can see it that well. To me, it reminds me of, and this is not what the poem I'm going to read in relation to it is, but it reminds me of, like, in Sleeping Beauty, is she a witch? I can't remember what she is, but like the pointy things, when she's like, ooh, I have to let her go. No, I'm going to start again. But you know, when she's like standing, and it's like a whole thing, so that's the first one again. And then we have to flip this over. And that's the second one. Again, this should be called something, but it isn't, and I think that's a real shame. And if you would like to come up for a name with it yourself, do so please.
Oyster.
Oyster! That's good. Okay. And then we go into the first one that actually has a name. And you might have a few ideas about this. Do you know what it's called? It is called Cup and Saucer. And it's like, you can kind of see it, right?
It's very good.
But to me it also reminds me of like a mouth, in a way. Ooh, I'm dropping everything. Huh, I keep picking it up, I'm so proud of myself. But it sort of reminds me more of a mouth. I can also adjust it to look more like a mouth, and it also kind of looks like the kanji for mouth, which is interesting. And then we go into the final thing. This is meant to be a thing. So, to me, this looks like an angel, and that's how I was shown it. Like, oh, this is an angel. This does not look like an angel to you. It's an upside down angel. It is falling.
It's geometry.
Yeah.
Triangles.
But yeah, so that is the complete portion of these. And then I'm going to read some poems in relation to the things. I might just leave that where it is because it's quite noisy to move.
I can move it if you like.
No, it's good.
Not part of the performance, you know.
So, I mean, a lot of these poems are actually from this book, which is over there. But because I do not have the sequence memorised, but I do have it on my phone, I'm just going to read them off my phone. But just pretend I'm reading from the book because that's a lot classier. Okay. Okay, the first poem. Tilted. Skirts surrounding breakage. Head tap and its protege again. Protected towards autonomy, tender extends over edges. Footage of the staircase. Lifted, the light flickers. Between seats, you flicker back. There's always someone to keep. Company that doesn't exist. First and false sustained. Snow sits, an elongated vowel apart from courage, yet you have neither. Put the stories A and B in parallel just by invalidating the time axis. It is as it is, imagined a very radical squid in the 1980s. Very impressive cut. The faces of 300 crabs. styrofoam vocal cords that day never went sound. Albumen. A way of walking was said, telling the position in juxta-impression of shell, the shard between finger and thumb, translucent where there's want for transparent, taut though lacking collection, some sense, seems slipping, is the borrowed armour comfort, something fell for a fraction, noted even in the strip lighting, though it's not unflattering, opaque could mean the same, misnomering feather for filter would soften exhalation. Fragile muse. Ottersoft, I would give you cups were it palatable, wood brim sighing steam, the favourite pebble I tuck under your arm for safekeeping or for luck. The skin of half-intended sleep slips free of velvet, gentle jaw-drawing shoreline, sharing yoghurt with paper waterbirds, the warmth you'll want to reach for. Frontispiece. A reliance on cygonology, the study of jawbones, its definitive edges somehow secondary, tonation in ink, the perspective of the outside shell, as you would see something that is horizontal, as you would see it differently in depth, negative, space. Carapace, somehow seen from above, this maybe doesn't fit with that, though touched of things reminiscent translucency, ebbing sewn constraint, Moriscant means pinning needles, needless wings, the shoulder curve in its lean idealism, I want to reveal things, I do. And a final poem, Sleepless Aside. An actor who wears a stuffed toy is called a stuffed toy. Degradation, which goes around pretty appearance, is a problem. Filling the insides moulded to resemble animals certain, the first is said to be the first, making limbs or lower limbs, sewing a cloth cut according to the paper pattern, used to replicate the coat sensation on the actor, entering pursued by a forbearance, that there is healing effect, charm regardless. Thank you.